Imagine your worst nightmare coming back from the dead just to sign your paychecks. Our poor heroine is a down-and-out, 18th-tier actor who is just trying to survive the cutthroat entertainment industry. But life decides to throw her a massive curveball when she runs into the one person who is her first love, her marriage partner, her fiancé, and her absolute mortal enemy, all at the same time. They say there's a thin line between love and hate, but for these two, that line is a literal battlefield. Whether they are destined to rekindle an old flame or just burn each other to the ground is anyone's guess. This is the chaotic, emotional roller coaster of a story called Surrendering to My Enemy's Cold Embrace. We start our day with a literal bang, or rather, a lot of screaming from a very stressed-out agent. Shen Youqing, you've got guts, you dared to oversleep. Her agent, Shi Ruolin, bellows as they race through traffic. Our girl Shen is barely awake, yawning like she didn't just jeopardize her entire career. Ruolin is losing her mind because she worked overtime to land this audition, and Shen is just sitting there drawing little doodles on the car window. When the lecture gets too loud, Shen pulls out her secret weapon, the ultimate cutesy act. Oh no, tilde Zhao Jai, I was wrong. She chirps, turning on the charm with those big puppy dog eyes. She even offers a little bribe, promising she'll definitely change her ways in the future. Shulin sighs, totally defeated by our nugget's pretty face, but she has one final warning. Put on your hat and don't show your ears to others. Suddenly, a pair of fluffy ears pop out of Shen's head because she's just that excited. She quickly jams a hat on to hide her secret. See, in this modern world, beastmen have evolved to look like humans, but they still have beastly slips when they're emotional. Our girl is a noble chinchilla, but she's constantly offended because everyone mistakes her for a common mouse. It's a real struggle for a high-class rodent. Shen finally arrives at the audition building, hoping today will be her big break. She greets the directors with a polite smile, but the vibe in the room is immediately rancid. Director Lin, a guy who screams creepy from a mile away, looks her up and down like she's a piece of meat. He asks if she can dance, and when she says no, he decides to test her with a very specific intimate scene. The script requires her to play an undercover courtesan who falls asleep in a customer's arms. Shen takes a deep breath, trying to stay professional despite the greasy look in Lin's eyes. She starts the scene, acting out the role of a seductive hostess offering wine to a guest. But then director Lin takes it way too far, improvising by grabbing her hand and pulling her close. Director Lin, this action isn't written in the script, she snaps, her voice icy. The creep just smirks, claiming it's for artistic effect while trying to force himself on her. That was his first mistake. Our girl might be a chinchilla, but she's got a savage bite. Asterisk splash, asterisk, she empties the entire glass of wine right into his face. And before he can even blink, she follows it up with a double slap combo that sends his sunglasses flying. Do you really think a mouse can't bite back? She roars, standing over him like a boss. The director is trembling, screaming for security to drag her out. But Shen is 3 steps ahead. She whips out her phone with a triumphant smirk. I recorded everything that just happened. Do you really want to call security? She challenges. She sticks her tongue out and bolts for the door before he can grab her. She's laughing as she escapes into the hallway, but her victory is short-lived when she slams into someone's chest. She starts to apologize, but then she looks up and her heart stops. Standing there is a woman with sharp golden eyes and an aura that could freeze the sun. It's the legendary director Shi Ruolin. Shen is completely paralyzed as her mortal enemy stares her down. Director Lin comes crawling out, trying to play the victim, but Shi Ruolin isn't having any of it. Are you qualified to teach her how to act? She asks him with a look of pure disdain. With a single savage sentence, she fires him on the spot. You don't have to come in tomorrow. Our heroine is currently having an existential crisis in the corner. Her agent Shulin runs up, totally starstruck to see director Shi. Shen is internally screaming, if I died right now, I wouldn't have to see my mortal enemy anymore. But Shulin, being the helpful agent she is, drags Shen forward to introduce her. Shi Ruolin leans in, her voice a low, dangerous purr as she repeats our girl's name, Shen Youqing. She flashes a predatory smile that sends literal chills down Shen's spine. Nice name, I'm all for supporting the youth, tilde, she says, though it sounds more like a threat. She ignores Shen's silent pleas for help and bangs the door shut. Now our poor chinchilla is trapped in a room with the snake who broke her heart. Shi Ruolin crosses her legs, her eyes locked onto Shen like a predator watching its prey. Come here, she commands, and you just know things are about to get very, very chaotic. Our resident ice queen Ruolin isn't playing games today, narrowing her eyes as she commands, come here. Our poor heroine Youqing looks absolutely petrified, her body locking up as she tries to process the situation. She's literally shaking in her boots, unable to even form a sentence. Ruolin leans in with a terrifyingly calm smile and asks, what, are you afraid of me? Youqing's head nods yes before she can even think, but she quickly snaps out of it, stammering and no. Ruolin just scoffs, her voice dripping with sarcasm as she mutters, ah, is that so? She mentions how it's been a long time since they've seen each other, her eyes filled with a dangerous glint. Ruolin lounges back, looking like a literal predator, and asks, if a domesticated chinchilla is roaming out in the wild, does it still remember who its owner is? That was the final straw for our girl. Youqing snaps back, her face red with fury. Anyone can be my owner except you. She screams, but Ruolin just thinks she's being a feisty little thing with sharp teeth and a sharp tongue. Before Youqing can run, Ruolin is on her feet. She corners our heroine against the wall, towering over her with overwhelming pressure. Who would you like to be your new owner? She whispers, her voice sending shivers down Youqing's spine. Ruolin grabs her, the tension in the room reaching a breaking point. When Ruolin asks if she likes the woman she was just with, Youqing finally loses it, screaming, Ruolin, you're crazy. Ruolin doesn't even deny it, simply replying, yes, I'm crazy. From the second you ran away from me, I went crazy. She shoves Youqing down with zero hesitation. Our girl hits the sofa with a thud, gasping for air. What are you doing? She cries out, terrified of what's coming next. But then, Ruolin's tone shifts. She tells her to SHH and asks to just hold her, admitting she hasn't had a good night's sleep in years and only sees Youqing in her dreams. She pulls our girl into a tight embrace, burying her face in her hair. Youqing stays silent, her heart racing as she's held captive. She thinks to herself that she has to get away from this lunatic as soon as possible. Soon, the sound of Ruolin snoring fills the room. Youqing sees her chance and slowly tries to lift Ruolin's arm to make a break for it. But Ruolin isn't actually asleep. Restless little thing, she mumbles, refusing to let go while Youqing struggles in her grip. They wrestle on the couch, but Ruolin is way too strong. In a moment of pure animal instinct, Ruolin bites down on her neck. Youqing gasps, completely caught off guard by the sudden sting. Ruolin holds her face, her eyes locking onto Youqing's with an intensity that's honestly kind of hot. Our heroine is paralyzed, unable to move a muscle. Don't forget you provoked me first, Ruolin warns, her voice low and husky. We get a glimpse into the past, back when Ruolin was first introduced as Youqing's new tutor. Back then, Ruolin looked much more professional, though no less intimidating. She revealed her beast form was a black-backed snake, which immediately set off alarm bells for our girl. Little Youqing begged her mom to let the teacher go, but her mom warned her that Ruolin was a disciple of a famous master, and offending her would ruin Youqing's future. Youqing realized she needed Ruolin even if she hated her. But things quickly got complicated, and the lines between teacher and student began to blur. Youqing's heart was shattered when she saw Ruolin getting close to another girl, Suyan. Rumors started flying that the two of them were actually a couple. Youqing looked like her whole world had ended. Hearing that they were seen holding hands was the final nail in the coffin. She felt disgusted and heartbroken, yet she couldn't bring herself to let go. In a moment of drunken weakness, Youqing had called Ruolin, begging her to come pick her up. With tears streaming down her face, she sobbed into the phone. I feel so uncomfortable, hug me, she pleaded. Back in the present, Ruolin realizes that the little chinchilla still has feelings for her after all. She pulls Youqing even tighter, a small smile playing on her lips. When Youqing finally wakes up, she realizes the position they are in. She shoots up in a panic, her face turning beet red. She looks over at the sleeping Ruolin, her mind racing. She quietly sneaks away and hops on a phone call with her manager, Zhao Jai. Are you trying to sell me off to Shi Ruolin? She hisses into the phone. She declares that she'd rather quit her job and stay home sharpening her claws than try to please that woman. But guess who's standing right behind her? Youqing screams at the top of her lungs, nearly jumping out of her skin. Ruolin immediately covers her mouth, telling her to stop yelling because the soundproofing is bad. Youqing glares at her, thinking she's a total hypocrite. She demands to be let go, but Ruolin isn't budging. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. What I want to do with you isn't finished yet, Ruolin says, her eyes darkening. Youqing trembles, asking what she's planning to do. She tries to sound tough, warning Ruolin not to mess around. But Ruolin just grabs her wrist, completely ignoring the threat. Youqing struggles, screaming for her to let go. She wonders if Ruolin is actually going to go through with something crazy. Suddenly, we see a chain being locked around Youqing's ankle. Ruolin leans in, whispering little chinchilla as she licks her lips. Where are you trying to escape to? She asks as Youqing trembles in fear. Ruolin's snake tail begins to coil around Youqing's leg, claiming her. The cold metal of the chain is a stark reminder that she's trapped. Youqing can do nothing but shake as Ruolin pulls her close again. Ruolin looks genuinely unhappy for a moment. She reaches out and places a beautiful white snake brooch in Youqing's palm. Without another word, she turns and walks away. Youqing is left standing there, completely baffled. She looks down at the gift, her eyes wide with shock. It's an exquisite piece of jewelry shimmering with red gems. This is, she mutters, unable to believe it. Ruolin sits back on the couch and lights a cigarette, acting like she didn't just chain someone up. A reward for you, she says coolly. She looks like an absolute boss, shrouded in a cloud of smoke. Thanks to you, I had a good rest, she adds. Youqing examines the brooch, but her pride gets the better of her. Ruolin asks if she doesn't like it. She expects Youqing to be insulted, wondering how she'll react. Youqing smacks the brooch away, shouting, who would want a broken brooch, like I give a damn. The jewelry clatters to the floor. Ruolin watches her, trying to figure out if it's disgust or just pure anger. The silence stretches on as the clock ticks. Ruolin thinks to herself that Youqing shouldn't be afraid of her anymore. But then Youqing's eyes start sparkling. Are you really giving this to me? She asks, her mood doing a complete 180. When Julin confirms it, Youqing bows so low her head nearly hits the floor. Thank you for the reward, boss, she chirps. Ruolin is absolutely stunned by the sudden change. Youqing is already calculating how much she can sell it for, thinking it'll cover her food and rent for years. Julin crushes her cigarette in annoyance. Are you short on money? She asks. She demands to know how many other people have given her tips like this. Youqing starts counting on her fingers, saying she's lost count because so many people have rewarded her. However, you're the most generous, she adds with a beaming smile. Julin is fuming, her jealousy flaring up. She's genuinely shocked that Youqing is so popular. Youqing keeps bragging about how in demand she is, while Julin literally grits her teeth in rage. Julin tells her she doesn't want her doing this ever again. Youqing argues back, saying she works legitimately and can't refuse a reward. Besides, if I don't, will you support me? She challenges. The room goes dead silent. Youqing immediately regrets opening her big mouth, thinking she's pushed it too far. She tries to laugh it off as a joke, but Julin stands up and says, I can. She gets a right in Youqing's face. What will you give me in return? She asks. She notes that Youqing looks terrified every time they're this close. Youqing retorts that it's expensive to support a chinchilla like her. She claims all of Ruolin's jewelry combined wouldn't even last a month. Ruolin takes that as a personal challenge. She immediately starts stripping off her own rings and earrings. She piles her high-end jewelry on the table, looking smug. Is that enough for a month? She asks. Youqing, still being stubborn, calls it junk and says she doesn't want it. Julin asks if she needs more, then suddenly grabs Youqing's wrist. Before Youqing can even process what's happening, Julin bumps into her, sending jewelry flying everywhere. In one swift motion, she tackles Youqing back onto the sofa. Our girl is left blushing and pinned under the snake's gaze, wondering how things escalated this quickly again. Our poor heroine is completely flustered, pulling back as her face turns a bright shade of crimson. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, she stammers. But Julin isn't letting her go that easily. She grabs her hand, whispering that she's right. Julin looks her dead in the eye and says that since she's so precious, simple things just aren't enough. She pulls our girl's hand toward her chest, asking if she remembers this spot. Apparently, she went and got a ruby piercing exactly where our heroine bit her before. The tension in the room is thick enough to cut with a knife, and our girl's heart is absolutely hammering against her ribs. She can't even look away as the thumping gets louder and louder. We get a glimpse of the heart-shaped ruby, glinting like a drop of blood. Julin leans in dangerously close, her breath ghosting over our heroine's lips as she asks, do you want it? Our girl finally snaps out of it, shouting at her to be serious. Julin just stares back, looking entirely too calm for someone being yelled at. She decides to double down on the chaos, shoving our girl's hand further in and telling her that if she wants something valuable, she has to come get it herself. Julin, our girl, screams in total shock. In a fit of panic frustration, she leans forward and sinks her teeth right into Julin's neck. She finally releases her grip, looking like she's about to explode from embarrassment. She's huffing and puffing, staring down at the woman she just assaulted. Our girl is literally sitting on her lap now, and the power dynamic is all over the place. Julin doesn't even look mad, she just shows off the fresh, angry bite marks on her collarbone. You're such an unromantic little thing, she teases, making our girl want to scream. Our heroine is fuming internally, thinking she'd love nothing more than to bite this unpredictable snake to death. But Julin is already moving on to business, telling her she wants to support her. I need you, she says, but our girl tries to play hard to ball, warning her that she's incredibly expensive to keep. Julin just raises an eyebrow and asks, oh, how expensive? Our girl holds up one finger with the confidence of someone who thinks they've won. She thinks she's scaring Julin off with her high demands. Chibai heroine is feeling pretty smug right about now. But Julin just laughs and picks up the phone, telling her secretary to bring in the sponsorship contract she already had prepared. I found the right person to sponsor, she says with a predatory smirk. 10 minutes later, there's a knock at the door. The secretary walks in and immediately freezes, seeing the chaos on the couch. She asks if Julin is all right, noticing the bite marks that definitely weren't there 10 minutes ago. Julin just brushes it off and asks for the labor contract. She takes the document and tells the secretary to leave before sliding it over to our girl. Sign it, she commands. Our heroine is skeptical, asking what the catch is. Julin calls it a maintenance contract, but our girl is not having it. She starts ranting, telling Julin to listen up. She insists she won't sell herself and be a pet even if she starves to death. Julin just calmly flips the page. The basic maintenance fee is 1 million a month, she mentions casually. Our girl's jaw practically hits the floor. Julin adds that she'll also guarantee 2 starring movie roles a year and fashion magazine spots. Our girl starts doing the math, and suddenly the pet life doesn't sound so bad. She's sweating bullets, wondering if there's a massive catch because nobody is this kind. She's spiraling, trying to figure out why Julin would give her all this for free. She tries to hold on to her dignity one last time, saying she won't sign. Julin doesn't argue, she just pulls out her phone and sets a timer for 1 minute. Then she drops the real bomb. Yu Zhengming has been looking for her for 3 years. Yu Zhengming is the head of the Shi family and our girl's mother in name only. Just the mention of her name makes our girl's blood run cold. Julin explains that 3 years ago, Zhang Yiming wanted to use their marriage for publicity. But our heroine ran away right before the engagement party, making everyone look like fools. We see the flashback of the empty dress and the shattered glass. Zhang Yiming's plans to take over the Shen family factory failed because of it. She holds a grudge, Julin warns, looking like the only thing standing between our girl and a very dark fate. She leans in, reminding her that she's the only one who has taken care of her. Our girl is trapped and she knows it. Julin asks if she'd rather be thrown into the sea to feed the fish, and that's the final nail in the coffin. "I'll sign it," our girl whispers. She grabs the folder, looking totally defeated. Julin promises she won't go back on her word. As Julin looks at the signature, Shen Youqing, she thinks about how she's been planning this very day for 3 years. But our girl is a professional, and she immediately starts asking about direct deposits and taxes. Julin tells her not to worry, but drops one more bombshell: she has to move. "What?" our girl cries out. Julin explains she has a flat in the city and expects her to be there to meet her needs at any time. "Don't go too far," our girl screams, but Julin just smiles, reminding her she already signed the terms. Later, Julin is in her car, looking exhausted. Her secretary is there, having already compiled everything on Youqing's past. Julin is clearly in pain, rubbing her head and asking for her medicine. The secretary hands over a box, and inside is a beastmen inhibitor. Julin looks pale, the strain of seeing our girl again clearly taking a toll on her body. She thinks about how the passion she's buried for years is trying to burst out. She stabs the needle into her arm, gasping as the inhibitor takes effect. Slowly, the marks on her skin begin to fade away. The secretary is worried, but Julin tells her to just drive. She picks up her tablet and starts searching for chinchilla breeding guide and how to convince someone to be willingly supported. This woman is obsessed. Meanwhile, night falls over the city. Our girl is back at her place, on the phone with her manager, who is screaming with joy. Apparently, Julin already called and gave her a massive role in a new movie. Our girl is suspicious, asking what kind of magic potion Julin gave her to make her act like this. Her manager says the potion is just the chance to make her famous. Our girl is staring at the ceiling, feeling the weight of her choice. She admits she's been a burden to her manager all these years, but she's terrified that the price of this fame is selling her soul. Her manager tells her that Julin is young, beautiful, and a woman, so it's 1,000 times better than being with some bald, pot-bellied man. Our girl hangs up, annoyed at the comparison. She tries to convince herself that there will be a way out once she reaches the top. "At least I'm alive and can make money," she sighs before trying to get some sleep. The next morning, she's woken up by a violent banging on her door. She's still in her pajamas, looking like a total mess as she wonders who it could be. She opens the door and finds Julin's secretary standing there with a polite smile. She explains that since our girl didn't answer her calls, she took the liberty of coming over. Our girl's brain is buffering as she tries to process this. "How do you know my address?" she screams. The secretary doesn't miss a beat, telling her she's there to pick her up to move. Suddenly, a stampede of movers rushes into the apartment. "You're trespassing," our girl yells, but it's like talking to a brick wall. The secretary apologizes, saying she didn't realize she was in a separate room. Our girl is face-palming, realizing she's lost this battle too. She quickly changes clothes and tries to keep an eye on her things. She's especially protective of one specific box, insisting on carrying it herself. It turns out 3 years ago, when the Shen family house was auctioned off, she rushed to save these few items. She clutches the small safe tightly, her last link to her past. She asks the secretary if she even has a choice in all this. "According to what MS, she said, it seems like you don't," the secretary replies cheerfully. She opens the car door and our girl has no choice but to climb in. She sits in the back seat, pouting and hugging her safe like a grumpy chinchilla. Our girl stands before her new high-end cage, clutching the keys to a safe that MS, she personally prepared for her. She apparently designed and decorated this entire room herself, and she hasn't let a soul inside until now. Our heroine steps inside, her boots clicking on the floor as she scans the place with narrowed eyes. The atmosphere is dripping with pink, flowery vibes that immediately make her suspicious. She hauls the heavy safe onto the bed, wondering what kind of secrets are locked inside. "Maybe there are some shameful and dirty things hidden in here," she mutters, her heart racing as the lock finally clicks. She slowly pries it open, bracing herself for the worst. But when she sees what's inside, her jaw hits the floor. It's not a stash of blackmail, it's a literal paradise for a pet. The room is decked out with more luxury than a 5-star hotel. There's a cabinet overflowing with every snack she could ever dream of, a closet filled with designer clothes, and even a massive high-tech running wheel. For a second, our girl is blinded by the sparkles, thinking this is the peak of luxury. But then reality sets in. She transforms into her chibai form, fuming with rage at the sight of that exercise equipment. "I'm a chinchilla, I don't need a running wheel like a freaking hamster," she screams at the top of her lungs. Right then, her phone starts buzzing in her bag. The caller ID reads Shi Ruolin. She is on the other end, looking as elegant and composed as ever in her office. "Did you arrive? Do you like the arrangements I made for you in our home?" she asks, her voice smooth as silk. Our heroine isn't falling for the charm. I don't like it, I hate the hamster wheel you put in there, she barks into the phone. She just gives a small knowing smirk. Oh, I see, however, I just want you to exercise more. After all, my toys need to be able to live until I get bored of playing with them, she says, cold as ice. Our girl's face turns bright red from sheer fury. She tells her to be a good girl and wait at home. But as soon as the line goes dead, our heroine is throwing a tantrum. She still sees me as a toy, she cries, feeling totally insulted. Little does she know, she is watching the whole meltdown on her security monitors, leaning back with a satisfied smile. So cute, she whispers to the empty room. She immediately calls her secretary with a new set of orders. Secretary Tang, remove the hamster wheel and replace it with a wooden scratching board, she commands. She goes back to watching her angry chinchilla on the screen, fascinated by every little movement. She watches as our girl starts aggressively stress-eating her hay snacks, cursing the black snake with every bite. She can't help but let out a little PFFT at the sight. She makes a mental note that since her pet likes hay snacks so much, they need to keep a constant supply ready. Soon enough, the delivery men are hauling a massive box into the suite. When our heroine sees the new scratching post, her anger evaporates instantly and she dives onto it with pure joy. She starts sharpening her nails with a blissful expression. Back in her office, she is getting even more creative with her pet care. She wonders if the girl would prefer sharpening her nails on something else, like snake scales. She's actually sitting there with a notebook, meticulously documenting everything. Her notes are incredibly detailed. She likes hay snacks a lot and eats a bag every 2 hours on average. She even reminds herself to tell the staff to limit the snacks so the girl doesn't spoil her appetite for real meals. She notes down the success of the scratching board and plans to prepare those snake scales so her pet won't hurt her delicate hands. She is fully committed to satisfying every single one of the little one's preferences. While she is busy being a total creep and taking notes, our girl decides it's time for some cardio. Since she refuses to use the wheel, she starts a vigorous dance routine in the middle of the room. She watches the screen, mesmerized, deciding that a personal trainer won't be necessary after all. Our heroine is actually a stunning dancer, moving with a grace that's hard to ignore. She finds herself reaching out to caress the screen, her eyes filled with a dangerous kind of affection. When her secretary interrupts to tell her it's time for a meeting, she reluctantly turns off the monitor. But the notes continue. She likes to dance, buy her a big mirror or furnish a practice room. She is so obsessed that she's rushing through her professional life just to get back to her little one. Meanwhile, our heroine is in the kitchen when her phone rings again. It's her old friend Zion. Zion is calling with big news. The troupe is having a celebration party tonight for a new play our girl actually wrote. Our heroine goes silent, her mind drifting back to 3 years ago. Back then, she had fled home with nothing, and it was a woman named Tan Zhen who gave her a safe place to stay. Tan Zhen gave her the chance to stand under the spotlight and fulfill her dreams of dancing. But the good times didn't last. The troupe hit management issues, and our girl had a massive falling out with Tan Zhen over their conflicting ideas. Even so, she misses the days when she could dance freely more than anything. When she hears that Tan Zhen was actually eavesdropping on the call, her heart softens. Okay, I'll go, she decides, her eyes lighting up with excitement. But then reality hits her like a truck. Wait, not good, she realizes. She has guards watching her every move, so how on earth is she supposed to sneak out? She starts pacing, trying to brainstorm an escape plan. She considers starting a fire, but that's too dangerous. She thinks about a disguise, but that's too risky. Climbing out the window, that's just a one-way ticket to a funeral. After half an hour of failing to come up with a heist-level plan, she decides to take the most terrifying route possible, asking for permission. Back in the boardroom, she's phone starts buzzing with a call from little Chinchilla. She actually pauses the meeting just to take it. I'm in a meeting, what's wrong? She asks, trying to sound professional. Our girl turns on the charm, lying through her teeth as she pouts on the sofa. I haven't seen you all day. I'm feeling lonely. When will you be back? She whines. She even asks for she to come home and pet her hot ears and tail. She says she won't be back until late, but she's immediately suspicious. Why would her little captive suddenly be seeking her out? Our heroine finally drops the bombs. Then, I'd like to go out today, is that okay? She's immediate reaction is a hard no. But our girl starts doing the sad, depressed pet act in She, who apparently has a massive soft spot, actually relents. Okay, but only 3 hours and you have to be home waiting for me this evening, she bargains. Our heroine cheers, I love you so much. Before hanging up, she promises she'll be there to greet her tonight. As soon as the call ends, she is left blushing like a schoolgirl, her heart fluttering because the little chinchilla said she loved her. But the reality at home is very different. Our girl is currently using a giant teddy bear with Shi Ruolin pinned to its face as a punching bag, kicking and punching it with everything she's got. MS, she eventually sees the state of the bear and her expression darkens. I'll deal with her properly when I get home tonight, she mutters ominously. Night falls and MS, she arrives home fully expecting a warm, loving welcome. She imagines her girl running into her arms, shouting about how much she missed her. But when she opens the door and announces she's back, the house is dead silent. The room is completely empty, with nothing but the wind blowing through. Where is she? MS, she demands, her voice trembling with rage. The maid nervously explains that the girl left and never came back. MS, she loses it, throwing a book across the room. She deceived me again, she screams, her eyes glowing with a terrifying light. She isn't just going to sit there. I'll go find her, she declares, storming out into the night. She tracks her down to the Wugang district, a place known for its neon lights and shady business. MS, she is approached by a fox beastman at a karaoke bar, but she brushes them off, her eyes glued to her phone's GPS. She finds her target at a theater troupe, watching from the shadows as her little chinchilla claims she's working legitimately. MS, she is fuming. Is the money I'm giving her not enough? Why does she want to be a degenerate? She thinks, her possessiveness reaching a boiling point. She marches up to the traveling dream theater troupe and starts banging on the door like a madwoman. Tianzhen opens it, trying to tell her they aren't accepting guests. MS, she doesn't care about service, she's there to collect her property. She barges past Tianzhen, screaming Shen Youqing at the top of her lungs. Inside, our girl is sitting with the rest of the troupe, mid-meal and clearly a few drinks deep. She looks up, her eyes bleary. Shi Ruolin, why do I see her here? I must be drunk and seeing things, she mumbles to herself. She's convinced she's hallucinating. But the hallucination is very real as MS. She grabs her from behind, her voice dripping with venom. Didn't you promise me that you'd wait at home? Our girl is in deep trouble now. Why are you here? Our girl Youqing stammers, her heart sinking as she realizes her worst nightmare just walked through the door. Youqing snaps back with a desperate no. But their public spat is interrupted by Auntie Tan, the troop leader, who wants to know exactly what their deal is. Shi Ruolin, ever the chaos demon, puts the ball in Youqing's court, telling her to explain their relationship. Panicking and clearly losing her mind, Youqing blurts out, she's my sugar mommy. Shi Ruolin just calmly says friend at the same time, leaving Auntie Tan in a state of pure confusion. The silence that follows is thick enough to choke on, but Auntie Tan plays the diplomat and invites them in for tea. Youqing is absolutely floored. She can't believe this obsessive yander is actually acting like a civilized human being. During their chat, Shi Ruolin reveals her beast form is a snake. She has the audacity to claim she's a black-backed snake that doesn't bite people. Our poor heroine is fuming internally, thinking, bullshit. I still have the teeth marks on my neck to prove it. To stop Shi Ruolin from spilling any more coincidences about how they met, Youqing accidentally spills her water to create a distraction. While changing, Youqing begs Auntie Tan not to trust a word out of that woman's mouth. Auntie Tan is skeptical because Shi Ruolin seems so gentle, but Youqing knows the truth. She remembers how things started out sweet, but once they became fiancés, Shi Ruolin's mental state completely shattered. Her memories are a blur of dark rooms and little chains. You will always be mine, the monster had whispered, and those words still haunt her every waking moment. Back in the present, Shi Ruolin decides the tea party is over. It's getting late, time to go home, she says, appearing at the door with a look that says don't make me repeat myself. To protect the troop, Youqing forces a smile and tells Auntie Tan she has chores to do. But the second they get to the car, the mask falls off. Shi Ruolin's grip on the steering wheel is white-knuckled as she demands to know if Youqing had enough fun. Our girl tries to bite back, telling her to mind her own business, but that only makes it worse. Shi Ruolin is seething with jealousy that Youqing can be happy with anyone but her. Did you forget that you're my pet now? She hisses, flooring the accelerator. They roar back to the estate, and Shi Ruolin drags her inside like a prisoner. Youqing demands to be let go, but the second the lights hit the room, her blood turns to ice. The walls are lined with whips, chains, and torture devices. What's wrong? Are you afraid? Shi Ruolin taunts, leaning into her space. Our girl trips in her panic, and for a split second, she thinks she sees a flash of worry in Shi Ruolin's eyes when she catches her. But that hope is crushed when Shi Ruolin picks up a heavy whip. The sound of it cracking against the floor echoes like a gunshot. Youqing collapses, trembling on the floor, screaming, "What the hell are you doing?" As the woman she once loved stands over her with a cold, unreadable gaze. Ruolin gazes down with a cold, calculated intensity that could freeze the sun. She clarifies that the props from her last movie set were just for show, and she has no intention of using them on our heroine. Our girl lets out a massive sigh of relief, thinking she's dodged a literal bullet. But the atmosphere shatters instantly when a heavy whip cracks against the furniture with a deafening bang. Speak, Ruolin demands, leaning back on the sofa like a true villainess. Why do you want to break our contracts? Our girl tries to play it cool, stuttering that she just drank too much and lost track of time. Ruolin isn't buying the act for a second and warns her not to forget the legal document she signed. Our heroine snaps back, asking if Ruolin thinks she's sabotaging things on purpose. Ruolin sneers, knowing exactly what's going on in that silver-haired head of hers. She points out that if she hadn't hunted her down tonight, Youqing would have stayed exactly where she was. Our girl finally explodes, screaming, "So what if I did it on purpose?" She rants that the contract promised film resources and pay, yet she's been given absolutely nothing. Juolin just stares at her with an infuriatingly calm so. Driven to the edge, our girl declares that she's officially terminating the contract right here, right now. Juolin's voice drops to a dangerous growl as she calls out her name. Little does our heroine know, Juolin has been working herself to the bone, fighting with investors and scriptwriters to tailor a role specifically for her. Juolin feels the sting of betrayal, realizing that despite her secret efforts, her little star is trying to turn the tables on her. "Do you know how much effort it takes to make a movie?" Juolin asks, her voice dripping with ice. When our girl suggests they just part ways amicably, Juolin can't help but laugh. "You're so naive," she says, reminding her that a breach of contract comes with massive fees and damages. To emphasize her point, Juolin slowly begins to unbutton her shirt, leaving our girl completely flustered and confused. "What are you doing?" Our heroine gasps, her face turning beet red. Juolin's gaze is predatory as she orders her to come closer. She taunts her, asking if she can actually afford the penalty for walking away. Our girl, fueled by pure spite, pulls out a credit card and slaps it onto the table. "I have plenty of money," she shouts. Juolin just smiles, a look that says our girl is oversimplifying things. She pulls her close, whispering that her weaknesses are only increasing. She corners her, demanding to know if some other woman gave her the money to back her up. Our girl is trapped, asking what it is that Juolin actually wants. "It's very simple," Juolin says, her hand resting over her heart. "All you have to do is make me happy." She promises that if she's satisfied, she'll provide all the resources and investments our girl's theater troupe could ever dream of. Our girl is stunned, asking if she's actually serious. Juolin gives her the ultimate choice: pay the crushing penalty or please her to receive fame and fortune. Our heroine is caught in a mental storm, wondering if she should just leave or give in. After a few tense minutes, she decides to swallow her pride for the sake of her dreams. She wonders how she's even supposed to please someone like Juolin. Taking the initiative, our girl kicks off her boots and starts to undo her own top. She sits beside the CEO, her face burning with embarrassment. As she reaches out, she realizes that touching Juolin actually feels surprisingly nice. Our girl decides to go for a bold move and straddles her. Just as our heroine thinks the disaster is finally over, Juolin sweeps her off her feet and carries her toward the bed. "You're so beautiful right now, I want a memento," Juolin says. Our girl begs to be put down, but Juolin is already setting up a camera. "No, tonight," the CEO insists. Realizing she can't win this round without pissing Juolin off again, our girl just sighs and looks away, letting the CEO have her way. Juolin isn't playing around anymore as she towers over our heroine with a cold, calculated gaze. She pulls out a black, lacy slip and tosses it at her, commanding, "Take this and put it on." Our girl is visibly shaken, her face turning a deep shade of red as she realizes just how little this outfit covers. She clutches her arms, trying to shield herself. "It's so revealing," she whispers, her heart racing as she looks at the thin straps in her hands. But Juolin doesn't care about her modesty. Once our girl is dressed, she looks like a literal doll, standing there completely vulnerable. Suddenly, Juolin grabs her wrists and begins to tie them together. Our heroine gasps, but before she can process what's happening, she's pushed down onto the bed. "Don't move, I'm not done," Juolin says firmly, ignoring our girl's panic protests. Juolin then picks up a paintbrush from a nearby set, her expression unreadable as she contemplates her next move. To our girl's absolute horror, Juolin begins to drag the brush across her skin. She was promised a photo shoot, not to be treated like a canvas. "Didn't I agree to just take some photos? Why are you drawing on me?" she demands, feeling the soft bristles send shivers down her spine. It's a weird, overwhelming sensation that has her trembling. She realizes Juolin is doing this on purpose, prolonging the moment just to watch her squirm. "Finish painting and then take a picture," our girl mutters, just wanting this humiliating ordeal to be over. Juolin agrees with a chillingly sweet smile. "Okay, if you say so." The camera finally comes out, and the room is filled with the rhythmic sound of the shutter clicking. Our girl poses as best as she can, her body tensed as she lies across the bed. Juolin is relentless, capturing every angle, every flush of her skin. She has our heroine lying perfectly still as she documents every detail. When the last photo is snapped, Juolin finally lowers the camera. Our girl lets out a massive sigh of relief, thinking the nightmare is over. But Juolin isn't satisfied yet. "Wait, don't move, this last shot isn't perfect," she commands. She crawls onto the bed, leaning in so close that their noses almost touch. "Straighten your back a little more, yes, like that," she whispers, her eyes burning with an intensity that makes our girl's breath hitch. "Next time, don't do this." Our heroine grumbles as she finally manages to wrap herself in a thick blanket. She's shivering from the cold and the sheer exhaustion of the session. "Don't spontaneously take photos like this anymore, I'm freezing," she complains. Juolin just looks at her, her expression softening slightly. "Actually, I just wanted to shoot a clip for your portfolio for the next movie," she explains. Our girl's jaw drops. "What?" she yells. She looks at the camera, her face twisting in horror as she realizes the implications. "What kind of movie needs questionable photos like those for the interview process?" she demands. She's convinced these pictures don't show her as a professional actor at all. But Ruolin is dismissive. I think they're suitable and the director will definitely like them, she says, adding with a hint of arrogance, of course, they would never dare to question my judgment. Our heroine is near a breakdown. Shi Ruolin, I'm begging you, please don't send these photos to the director, she cries, forcing back tears. If these photos were leaked to the outside world, my reputation would be ruined. In her head, her inner chibai is literally biting Ruolin's head off. She imagines herself fighting Ruolin and biting her to death for this betrayal. Ruolin just tilts her head. Oh, but if she doesn't submit these photos, she muses. Our girl is convinced this nasty snake is just messing with her again. She puffs her cheeks out in a pout, while Ruolin offers to let her do a dramatic reading or a dance instead. Ruolin pulls her close again, her hands resting on our girl's waist. Haven't you helped me with taking photos a lot of times before? She asks. The question hits our girl like a ton of bricks. Ruolin's eyes grow distant as she drifts into a memory. That's right, she says softly. She remembers the days when they were close, when our girl used to call her teacher and they would spend hours together. But the memory turns bitter. You were a naughty girl, and Ruolin starts. She recalls a younger version of herself, looking vulnerable and disheveled. It turns out the tables were turned back then. Our girl had once taken an indecent video of Ruolin while she was drunk. Ruolin stares at her now, the weight of that past betrayal hanging between them. At the time I was ignorant, our heroine stammers, her face pale. She wonders how Ruolin even knows about the video. Did that bitch Lucy and tattle? She thinks bitterly. Ignorant, Ruolin repeats, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Our girl tries to defend herself, claiming she didn't take the video intentionally and that she eventually came back. She admits to herself that she did take the videos in a moment of confusion. She looks down, full of guilt. But I kept those videos hidden and didn't leak them. They've caused her no harm, she reasons. But Ruolin's memory of the aftermath is much darker. She remembers being imprisoned and having excessive things done to her in retaliation. Our girl wonders if the physical and mental damage she suffered since then isn't enough to pay for her past mistakes. Ruolin looks at her with a weary, almost pained expression. Shen Youqing, she sighs. You owe me a lot more. The tension is broken when Ruolin abruptly changes the subject. Please prepare the rest of the audition materials and I'll help you shoot tomorrow, she says, her professional mask sliding back into place. She turns and walks away without another word. As the door clicks shut, our girl is left standing alone in the room. She lets out one last chibai scream of frustration. I knew she had bad intentions. She takes revenge for any reason. She holds grudges. Meanwhile, in a dimly lit room, Ruolin is surrounded by shadows. She stands before a wall covered in photos of our heroine, photos from their past, from their happiest moments, and from their darkest. She looks at old headlines and punishment notices that hint at a massive scandal that once ruined our girl's reputation. Ruolin picks up a photo of our girl smiling brightly under cherry blossoms. I really like it, Miss Shi, the photo seems to whisper. Ruolin's grip tightens on the picture. Shen Youqing, she breathes, her eyes filled with a mix of obsession and pain. Was the love and feelings you had for me in the beginning all fake? She asks the empty room. She touches the photo gently, her fingernails grazing the image of the girl she can't let go of. How long must I wait until you give me a little more love? She whispers, pressing the photo against her face as if she could pull the real Youqing through the paper. Back at the mansion, our girl is on a mission to find Shi Ruolin to check over her dance routine. She's wandering through the massive halls, checking the monitors and calling out her name, but it's ghost town vibes. She finally clicks open a door, and her eyes go wide. There's Ruolin completely passed out on the couch after working herself to the bone. Our girl realizes she's been here the whole time. As she looks around, she spots a storyboard on the floor titled Shen. Her heart skips a beat as she realizes, is this a script that Shi Ruolin is writing specifically for me? She wonders if this is what her cold mentor has been so busy with lately. Being the sweetheart she is, our heroine grabs a blanket to cover the sleeping beauty. But then she gets a little too close for comfort, getting absolutely lost in Ruolin's stunning face. She quickly shakes it off, scolding herself, no, how could I be mesmerized by her? She's a nasty snake who was bullying me yesterday. Naturally, she decides the best revenge is a childish prank. She grabs a pen, giggling to herself, hee hee, I'm going to draw a picture for you. But the second she leans in, Ruolin's eyes snap open. Our girl's soul basically leaves her body as she screams in terror. Before she can bolt, Ruolin's hand shoots out like a whip. She pinches our girl's side, making her yelp. With a sudden tug, our heroine falls right onto the couch. Ruolin pulls her into a tight embrace, murmuring, be good, I'm tired, nap with me. Our girl is frozen, but Ruolin isn't done teasing her. Some people, even when they are 18, still sleep cuddling a pillow, Ruolin whispers. She leans in close, her voice dripping with that possessive energy we love. As your financial sponsor, can I sleep with my pet in my arms? She even gives our girl a playful nip on the neck, calling her so sweet. Our heroine is a blushing mess, wondering why Ruolin is acting so nasty and forward when she was never like this before. This takes us back to a memory from 6 years ago. Ruolin was officially her tutor back then and she wasn't playing around. She laid out a row of rulers on the table and warned, "If you don't listen to my instruction carefully, I'll use these to punish you." Our girl, being a total brat, shouted back, "I dare you." Ruolin just gave her that icy stare and challenged, "Try me." They had a regular standoff, with our girl growling like a tiny, angry hamster while Ruolin just stood her ground. But the tough act didn't last long. Seconds later, our girl was literally begging for mercy. "I'm begging you, kind miss, please forgive my rudeness," she cried, clinging to Ruolin's arm. Ruolin agreed to let it slide, but only if she performed her dance. And man, did she deliver. She moved with such grace and beauty that even the stoic Shi Ruolin was left completely stunned. Our girl, seeing the look on her face, couldn't help but tease her. "Miss Shi, you look stunned. Was my dancing pretty?" Ruolin tried to play it cool with a simple, it was very nice. Our girl wasn't having it. "Ah, tilde just that's unfair," she complained. She got right in Ruolin's personal space, reminding her that she was promised a reward for behaving. Ruolin offered to get a top-tier choreographer, but our heroine had something else in mind. She blushed, asking if Ruolin would take her to see the cherry blossoms at the university. Ruolin, caught in a daze, simply said, "Okay." Our girl was so happy she pounced on her with a massive hug, shouting, "Miss Shi, I really like you." Back in the present, our girl is sleep-talking that same confession, "I really like you." Ruolin watches her, her expression unreadable as she wonders if the girl is finally telling the truth. But the moment is ruined by a sharp pain. Ruolin realizes her inhibitor failed and scales are starting to crawl up her skin. Fearing her animalistic desires will take over, Ruolin carefully untangles herself and flees the room. When our girl finally wakes up, the spot next to her is cold. Her phone starts buzzing like crazy, and when she checks it, she looks like she's seen a ghost. Meanwhile, Ruolin is hiding in the shadows, staring at the scales on her body with pure self-loathing. She regrets getting so close last night, terrified of becoming a slave to her instincts again. A dark memory flashes back, a time when her snake half-coiled around our girl, trapping her while she screamed, "Monster." Present day, our girl is pounding on the door, ecstatic because she passed the audition. Ruolin is inside, desperately calling a hospital to be admitted before things get worse. She throws on a hoodie to hide her changing body and finally opens the door. Our girl is beaming, "I can join the crew now." But Ruolin is cold as ice. She tells her she'll be too busy to help and pushes her off to another manager. Our girl tries to grab her arm in gratitude, but she accidentally pulls back the sleeve, revealing the scales. Ruolin flinches away instantly. "Why are you thanking me? I'm only doing this to fulfill the terms of the contract, so don't overthink it," she snaps. Our heroine looks like her heart just shattered into a million pieces. "It's only out of obligation," she whispers, holding back tears. As our girl turns to leave, dejected, Ruolin clearly feels a pang of regret. She calls out, "Stop," and before our heroine can react, Ruolin leans in and plants a soft kiss on her forehead. But the sweetness is followed by a chilling warning. "You'd better behave yourself while I'm not around," Ruolin whispers, her eyes glowing. "No matter where you go, I'll find you." Our girl is left standing there, heart racing and completely stunned. The van speeds down the road as our girl's manager, Ruolin Jai, absolutely loses her mind with joy. "Woohoo, she actually helped you secure a film role, and as the second female lead." She screams, practically vibrating with excitement. For years, they've been stuck eating metaphorical slop, but now they finally have a taste of the gourmet life thanks to MS. She's backing. Our heroine looks out the window, her mind racing as she remembers that tender kiss MS she gave her before leaving. She's completely spiraling, wondering why a woman who claimed she was just a pet would be so affectionate. When Ruolin Jai asks how the relationship is going, our girl just dismisses it, saying there's not much to tell. But her manager isn't having it, waving her hands dramatically. "How can you say that? You're not young anymore, Youqing. This is your last shot," she warns. Our girl realizes she's right, MS. She is her only ladder to the top, and she needs to secure that money and those resources if she wants to survive as an actress. Ruolin Jai gives her a teachable moment look, telling her she needs to firmly grasp MS. She's heart while she still has the chance. "So how do I win her over and make her give me even more?" Youqing asks, leaning in. She thinks back to how strange Shi Ruolin has been acting lately, almost like she's playing some kind of abandonment game. She even imagines herself as a tiny, crying chinchilla begging the fickle snake not to leave. Ruolin Jai digs through her bag, claiming she has the perfect method. She pulls out a bottle of beastly aphrodisiac. A girl stares at the bottle in horror, her soul practically leaving her body. "It's very safe. Once you try it, you won't be able to go without it." The manager cheers. In her head, Youqing literally yeets the bottle into the sun. She wanted a manual on how to make sponsors spend money, not a spray to seduce them into bed manual. Despite her manager's look of pure anticipation, Youqing just sighs and stuffs the bottle into her purse. She immediately pulls out her phone to search if that stuff is even safe for chinchilla beastmen. The van finally arrives at the filming location, a beautiful building surrounded by spring blossoms. Youqing meets director Liu Kaio, greeting her with a professional smile. The director looks her up and down, thinking she's not bad and that Shi Ruolin's camera didn't deceive her this time. They sit down to discuss the script, which is a light, suspenseful, emotional film. Youqing is set to play a theater actress who loses her life after being caught up in a man's courtship. The director doesn't sugarcoat things, telling her that hard work is useless in this industry. She warns Youqing that she doesn't care about her relationship with Shi Ruolin. If she doesn't act well, she's getting kicked out. Suddenly, a voice calls out "Darling Tilda," and a finger pokes our girl's cheek. "Ooh, you're so cute," a stunning woman in sunglasses gushes. This is Lai Wan, the movie's leading lady, and she seems a little too friendly. Youqing is stunned because she's never heard of this Lai Wan before. The director introduces them, and Lai Wan immediately starts teasing the director about where she found such a sweet girl. While they talk, Youqing secretly taps away on her phone, doing a quick background check. Her eyes widen when she sees the search results. Lai Wan became a top star after collaborating with director Shi Ruolin. Wait, she was made famous by Shi Ruolin? She thinks, her heart sinking. She scrolls further and finds an interview where Lai Wan claims her personal life is chaotic, but that she has a deep bond and is soulmates with Shi Ruolin. Our girl stares at the screen, feeling a massive wave of jealousy. Soulmates? Have I been dragged into another weird love triangle? She wonders, looking totally done with life. Her mind flashes back to 6 years ago at Lingnan University. Back then, young Youqing was looking for her Suyeon GAE at the school. A girl stopped her, telling her to keep her voice down. Youqing explained that Suyeon was her neighbor and always took care of her, and she just wanted to catch up. But the girl whispered a scandalous secret. Suyeon and Shi Ruolin were being handsy in there. Youqing's world crumbled as she learned that Suyeon had been pursuing Shi Ruolin for a long time. Heartbroken, she walked away in the rain, clutching a bouquet of flowers. She couldn't understand how anyone could prefer a cold black-backed snake over a soft chinchilla. Later that night, a frustrated Youqing hit the clubs wearing a fur coat and drinking heavily. She wailed to her friends about why Suyeon didn't like her. A friend suggested that maybe Suyeon just liked the persona Shi Ruolin put on, and that Youqing should take a photo of the snake's true self to expose her. Drunk and determined, Youqing slammed her black card on the table, declaring that the booze was on her. She wanted to see for herself what was so great about that woman. She even poured wine over her own shoulder to make it look like she'd been in a mess. Then she called Shi Ruolin, slurring her words and begging her to come pick her up because she was drunk. Back in the present, Youqing realizes she's in a similar mess. She wonders what the hell Shi Ruolin is trying to do by putting her and her soulmate, Lai Wan, in the same movie. Feeling overwhelmed, she tells director Liu Kaio she has a fever and needs to go take medicine. But Lai Wan jumps in, saying there's no clinic nearby and offering medicine in her own room. Lai Wan gets uncomfortably close, whispering, "I really like rodents like you." She invites Youqing to her room to rehearse, no matter how late it is. Youqing tries to back out, saying she has things to do, but Lai Wan grabs her arm and won't let go. She drags our girl toward a room, claiming she has a meeting with someone difficult to book. The door clicks open and Youqing's heart stops. There, sitting coolly on the couch, is Shi Ruolin herself. Our girl can only gasp out her name as she realizes she's just walked straight into a trap. The redhead is way too comfortable, hugging our girl and asking if she's envious. She doesn't even blink, staring her down with an intensity that could melt steel. "I'm envious, I want her," she admits, before marking her territory by declaring our heroine is already hers, so the redhead better keep her paws off. Our poor girl is a blushing mess, caught right in the middle of this high-stakes tug-of-war. She stands up, her patience clearly wearing thin. Internally, she's fuming because she actually took extra medicine just to feel well enough to see her little one, only to find her cozied up to someone else. She's practically hissing like the snake spirit she is, while the redhead continues to tease her about dumping the old for a new cutie. Finally, she has had enough and commands our girl to come over. Our heroine looks at her like she's a literal savior, asking what a coincidence it is to see her here. She pulls her close, ignoring the redhead's confused questions about how they even know each other. She coolly explains that the girl was her student, and she was the one who recommended her for this acting role. The redhead is shocked that Shi Ruolin was ever a teacher, but she isn't interested in small talk. She demands to know what the redhead has been doing with her student, her possessiveness reaching an all-time high. She touches our girl's face, noting that her temperature is high and she seems stressed. "No need to explain, I'm taking her to the hospital," she declares, basically kidnapping our heroine for some medical attention. As they leave, the redhead shouts after them to discuss the movie later, but she is already gone. The second they are behind closed doors, the caring teacher act vanishes. She pins our girl against the door with a heavy thud. Our girl is startled, asking what she's doing. She leans in dangerously close, whispering that she hasn't seen her in days and she's suddenly become very frisky. Suddenly, she leans down and bites our girl's neck. Our girl screams, pushing her away as her face turns a shade of red that should be physically impossible. She thinks to herself that she has become way too overbearing and that she definitely shouldn't have provoked her. This takes us back to a memory from 6 years ago. Our girl is being carried into a room, looking absolutely wasted in a sparkly black dress. She's sprawled out on the bed, dazed and blushing. She leans over her, demanding to know why she was at a bar in the first place. Our girl mumbles that she was forced to drink a lot of bitter wine. She clings to she begging for a hug to warm her up. She tries to be logical, reminding her that snakes have cold bodies even in human form, so she can't warm her up. Then let me warm you up, our girl whispers, leaning in to kiss she's neck. She's heart nearly stops as she pushes her away, shouting her name and asking if she has any idea what she's doing. She looks absolutely panicked, while our girl just stares back with those sad, drunken eyes. She tries to tell her they aren't suitable for each other, but our girl just calls her a nasty bitch and asks why she doesn't like her. She bursts into tears, wailing about how sad she is. She is totally helpless against the waterworks, trying to calm her down. She even gets a text from a friend telling her to please not reject the girl tonight because she can be willful. She sighs, telling her to stop crying before she makes herself feel worse. Our girl looks up, asking if she's actually concerned. She suddenly plants a kiss on she's cheek, giggling that her face is soft and tasty. She eventually manages to get her to lie down and rest. In a cute chibai moment, she tries to tuck her in, but our girl pulls her right into the bed. They end up cuddling, with our girl insisting she wants to hug while she sleeps. It's a rare, peaceful moment for the two of them. But we're snapped back to reality where things are much more tense. She is currently sniffing our heroine, accusing her of being covered in the scent of another woman's perfume. She pushes our girl, asking if the redhead Lai Wan is someone she knows. Our girl tries to play it cool, saying she isn't unhappy, but her animal ears give her away by popping out. Internally, she's fuming about how Lai Wan is trying to steal her movie connections and harass her. She takes her hand, telling her she can't be fooled because her ears always appear when she's upset. Our girl tries to hide them, but she starts stroking her ears, driving her crazy. Why you stop touching me? She screams, throwing a total tantrum. She just snickers, wanting to sniff her again. Our girl insists she washed herself thoroughly, but she asks why she smells so salty. You aren't insinuating that I'm jealous, right? She asks with a smirk. Our girl snaps back that she's been reading too many domineering CEO novels. Deep down, our girl is stressed because Lai Wan is a crazy woman she needs to stay away from. But she realizes she needs the resources she promised her, so she changes her tune. She puts on her best acting face, admitting she is jealous and unhappy about the other celebrity. She looks at she with teary eyes, asking, didn't you say that I'd be your only pet? She hugs she's neck, asking why she'd start liking someone else. She is totally played, kissing her and promising she doesn't even like Lai Wan. Our girl calls her a liar, complaining that they're about to work on a movie together. She immediately folds, promising to minimize her collaborations with the redhead. Our girl hides a sneaky hee-hee smile while hugging her, celebrating her victory. She nuzzles into she acting like the perfect, obedient student. She tells her she likes it when she's happy and to smile more. Our girl promises to always listen, but internally she's cursing the damn snake for forcing her to smile. Suddenly, she pulls a writing crop out of her bag. Since our girl started calling her teacher again, she decides it's time to fulfill her duties. She grips the crop with a wicked smile, telling our girl, now let me teach you how to act. Shi Ruolin doesn't even blink as she hands over a thick stack of papers, her eyes fixed on our girl with a chilling intensity. What, you're not interested? She asks, her voice smooth but dangerous. Our girl Shen starts sweating bullets, waving her hands in a panic as she tries to explain that's not it at all. But the nasty snake isn't having it, beckoning Shen to come closer with a simple, come over here. She reminds Shen that countless young actresses would kill for her personal guidance, so she better not waste this chance. As Shen looks at her, she can't help but think back to 6 years ago, when this intimidating woman was just a teacher flying under the radar with her students. We jump back to the Shen family villa, where our girl is waking up with a massive hangover and a heart full of regret. She realizes she was alone in a room with her crush all night and missed her big chance. Determined to make up for lost time, she bounces out of bed and grabs her phone. Her plan, secretly film the teacher and find a way to seduce her. Honestly, her search history is a total disaster. She's looking up snake-attracting perfume and pinhole cameras. A doorbell ring interrupts her plotting and she rushes downstairs, hoping her secret weapons have arrived. She opens the package, but whatever is inside leaves her completely speechless and blushing like a tomato. She ends up glued to her tablet, screaming in a mix of horror and fascination. Is this the fabled art of seduction? She cries out, clearly overwhelmed by what she's learning. Still, she decides to go for it, vowing to unmask the bad snake once and for all. She starts practicing her most alluring poses on the bed, looking more like a confused puppy than a seductress. The next morning, she greets Miss Shi with her best sparkling-eyed look, chirping good morning. But Miss Shi just gives her a deadpan stare and walks right past her. Our girl is fuming. She ignored me, she screams internally. She tries again during dance practice, striking a pose and asking if she's doing the move properly. Miss Shi doesn't even look up from her laptop, giving a cold, it's good. Shen is practically vibrating with annoyance, begging for just a little bit of attention. Shi finally closes her laptop, admitting the movements are precise and even her own teacher liked the videos. Shen's mood flips instantly into pure joy at the praise. But then Shi drops a bombshell. Has anyone ever told you, when you're bored, your pupils become vertical? Caught in her snake-like habits, Shen tries to pivot, suggesting they do a duet dance together. Shi shuts that down faster than a laptop at 5 p.m. I won't, she says flatly. She tells Shen that dancing a duet is way beyond her job description as a teacher and warns her that she's crossed the line. Snap back to reality where Shi is handing her the script once again. Shen tries to play it cool, promising to cherish the wisdom of her teacher. Shi pokes her cheek, warning her to perform well tonight or there will be no mercy. They settle onto the sofa, but as soon as Shen opens the script, she freezes. Why are there so many I love yous in this? She shouts. She suspects the nasty snake did this on purpose just to mess with her. Shi leans in dangerously close, asking if she's slacking off on her lines again. Before Shen can even process the proximity, she finds herself pulled right onto Shi's lap. Shen starts reading the lines about flowers withering and time flowing, her face turning a deep shade of crimson. Nope, your tone wasn't sweet enough, Shi critiques, her voice dropping to a whisper. She offers to teach her how it's really done, leaning in until her lips are right against Shen's ear. My lover, even when that time comes, will you still love me? She murmurs. Shen is absolutely short-circuiting at this point. Shi explains that it's not just about the lines. Her body language and emotions have to be perfect. To demonstrate, Shi puts on a performance so heartbreakingly sincere that Shen is left dazed. Our girl is reeling, thinking how rare it is to see this side of her. But as soon as the scene ends, Shi leans away and tells her not to get too deep into the role. Shen is left pouting, feeling totally played. She insists she learned her lesson, but she wants to see her express that love to the camera. After a grueling hour of practice, Shen is practically a ghost, exhausted from the emotional roller coaster. Shi isn't done though, tapping a stick against her hand and threatening punishment for being tired. Shen panics, but the punishment is just a light tap on the hand. Shi then pinches her cheek, reminding her that in this room she is just the teacher. She warns that if their true relationship was discovered, it would be a disaster to deal with. Shen huffs, thinking this is the same unclear nonsense she's been dealing with for years. Is their relationship really something to be embarrassed about? We flash back again to Lingnan University 6 years ago. Shen is wandering the campus, checking her phone for updates from a literal paparazzi. Apparently, Shi was so popular back then that people were constantly stalking her for private photos. Shen, acting like a total fangirl, gets her hands on the teacher's schedule for the day. She finds out Shi is in the middle of a lecture and decides that only cowards peek through the door. She marches right in and sits directly next to her crush. Shen just stares at her with zero chill, eventually reaching out to touch Shi's arm. Shi turns around, looking absolutely stunned while our girl just beams at her. Is Shi surprised to see me? She asks, looking way too proud of her stalking skills. Our heroine, Shi Ruolin, finally realizes she's being cornered. She snaps at the silver-haired Shen Youqing to get out immediately, but the girl just smiles, claiming she only brought some snacks. Ruolin isn't buying the innocent act for a second, dragging her toward the office to stop the public spectacle. Once the door clicks shut, the tension in the room could be cut with a knife. Youqing casually explores the office, noting that this is where her teacher spends her time. She spots a beautiful plant in a vase, but Ruolin warns her not to touch it. It was given to me by a friend, Ruolin says coldly, mentioning a woman named Lu Suyan. Youqing's face drops as jealousy flares, and she demands to know just how close they are. Ruolin sighs, clearly exhausted by the girl's antics, and asks what she actually wants. I just want to know why you've been avoiding me lately, Youqing pouts. Ruolin tries to lie her way out of it, but our girl isn't having it. You liar, she cries, grabbing Ruolin's arm and pressing her hand directly against her own chest. Shi, do you feel that? She asks softly. Ruolin turns beet red, screaming, Shen Youqing, are you crazy? Youqing leans in, her voice dropping to a whisper as she explains that her heartbeat has slowed ever since Ruolin started acting distant. She claims that chinchillas are sensitive creatures that get sick if treated coldly. Ruolin, completely flustered, tells her to go see a doctor then, while Youqing wonders why Ruolin isn't unleashing her beastliness, like in the movies she's seen. Losing her patience, Ruolin pulls out a ruler and slams it down. If you dare say one more inappropriate thing, I'll punish you, she threatens. Instead of being scared, Youqing's mind goes straight to the gutter, imagining a very different kind of punishment. She looks at the ruler and boldly asks if that's what Ruolin plans to use. She leans in even closer, whispering that a little punishment won't be enough, and points out that Ruolin's own heart is racing. Suddenly, a knock at the door ruins the moment. It's upperclassman Lu. Panic sets in as Ruolin realizes she can't be caught like this. She covers Youqing's mouth and shoves her into hiding. I don't want others to find out about our relationship, she whispers, leaving Youqing in the dark. Cut to their acting lesson, where Ruolin is putting Youqing through the ringer. Youqing is forced to repeat lines of endearment, though she looks like she's about to lose her soul. When Ruolin mentions a next time, Youqing wonders if this nasty snake is just addicted to playing teacher. She tries to make a quick escape, but Yuolin grabs her arm again. I'll go with you to meet the director, Yuolin declares. Youqing freezes. She totally lied about having a meeting just to get away. They arrive at the set of Burdensome Spring, where director Liu Kaio is busy at work. The director is surprised to see them, but Yuolin reminds her that as the producer, she has every right to be there. When asked why Youqing is tagging along instead of studying her script, the girl quickly makes up an excuse about wanting to learn from her seniors. While Youqing is whisked away to makeup, the director corners Yuolin. Why did you and Shen Youqing sleep in the same room last night? She asks point blank. Apparently, word has already spread that Yuolin dragged the student into her room and never came out. Yuolin plays it off, claiming she just had an urge to act and needed a partner. The director warns her to be more restrained, as the media would have a field day with rumors of her bullying a young actress. Yuolin agrees, but internally she's already planning to find a more secluded place for their next lesson. In the dressing room, Youqing is shocked to hear that her part has been expanded with extra scenes. Her phone buzzes with a text from Yuolin. Darling, be sure to perform well. I want to see the results of last night's instruction. Youqing looks up to see Yuolin waving her phone with a wicked smirk. Another text arrives, threatening a severe punishment if she fails. Determined to prove herself, Youqing steps onto the set in a stunning traditional dress. She takes a deep breath and prepares to show them what she's learned. As she delivers her lines with raw, tearful emotion, the entire crew is left mesmerized. She's proud to finally show everyone she isn't just a pretty face. But as she starts getting friendly with her co-star, Lai Wan, Yuolin's expression darkens. Our producer is in a terrible mood, jealous that her student is being so lovable to everyone else but her. The director's voice booms across the set, demanding everyone get into position so they can finally start filming. Our girl takes her place, eyes shining with intensity as she delivers her lines, begging the president to let her take on the role. She's giving it her absolute all, and the camera captures every drop of emotion. After 20 minutes, the director is beyond impressed, noting that she's clearly been learning well from the legendary Shi Ruolin. Our girl is practically glowing, hoping she hasn't embarrassed her mentor. But the mood shifts instantly when Yuolin steps closer. Don't move, your lipstick is smudged, she says, her voice smooth as silk. Before our heroine can even blink, Yuolin's hand is on her chin, leaning in to wipe the smudge away personally. Our girl's heart is doing backflips as she wonders if Yuolin has actually lost her mind. Shouldn't they be avoiding suspicion in public? As Yuolin's thumb brushes her lip, she wonders if this is a deliberate attempt at seduction. She quickly pulls away, feeling like she's being treated like a helpless child. Yuolin looks momentarily stunned by the rejection, admitting she might have been too presumptuous. Our girl thinks she's finally in the clear as Yuolin walks away. But then Yuolin leans in close to her ear, whispering a chilling reminder. My guidance isn't over yet. Remember to come to my room tonight. The blood drains from our girl's face. There is absolutely no way she's surviving another lesson. Back in the safety of her room, she's pacing like a trapped animal, terrified of what that wicked snake has planned for her tonight. Her back and throat still hurt from yesterday, and she's determined not to let Yuolin run rampant again. She grabs her phone, deciding that a little white lie is her only hope for survival. Miss Shi, I'm not feeling well, can we postpone? She types. When Yuolin asks if she has a fever, our girl doubles down, claiming her temperature is a blistering 38 degrees. Yuolin offers to cancel tomorrow's rehearsal, but our girl panics. She doesn't want to miss work, she just wants to escape the snake. Suddenly, the messages stop. Why isn't she replying, she wonders. Then, a sharp knock at the door makes her nearly jump out of her skin. She realizes too late that Yuolin's room is just down the hall. Yuolin enters, looking deceptively concerned with a bag of medicine and cooling patches. She reaches out, pressing her cool hand against our girl's flushed forehead. The sensation is so heavenly that our heroine completely forgets she's supposed to be faking it. Miss Shi, don't take it away. Keep petting me, she mumbles, leaning into the touch. Yuolin's expression remains unreadable as she continues to stroke our girl's head. But then she checks the temperature again and the jig is up. Your temperature is normal, Yuolin observes. It looks like the little chinchilla is lying again. Our girl realizes she's just walked straight into a trap. She tries to run, but Yuolin is faster, claiming her cold hands are perfect for lowering a fever. Yuolin's smile is predatory as she explains that she'd be heartbroken if her beloved pet died before they got to properly play together. Our girl is fuming, she's being treated like a toy again. Yuolin insists she take her medicine, promising that once she recovers, the lessons will continue with even more intensity. As Yuolin leaves, our girl is left standing alone, frustrated that after 6 long years, she's still just a pet to that woman. She thinks back to 6 years ago at the student union office. She had been peeking through the door, watching a beautiful upperclassman named Suyan visit Yuolin. Suyan was trying to get Yuolin to join a filmmaker funding program. Our girl found their professional talk boring, but her ears perked up when Suyan invited Yuolin out for a private dinner. In her jealousy, our girl accidentally banged against the door. Yuolin didn't miss a beat, telling Suyan the noise was just her new pet inside and rejecting the dinner invite because she already had plans with her pet. Back in the present, our girl stares at the medicine, refusing to be Ruolin's obedient little animal. She pouts, crossing her arms in a show of defiance. But karma has a wicked sense of humor. 1 week later, she's actually bedridden with a real fever of 40 degrees. Ruolin, sitting in her office, sees a message from our girl claiming she's still sick. Ruolin sneers, convinced it's just another lie from an ungrateful student. Coldly, she orders her assistant to pack up. They're leaving for the city immediately. Ruolin even calls the director, Liu Kaio, demanding that she stop giving our heroine any special treatment. She wants to see massive improvement in a week, regardless of their relationship. She's clearly trying to distract herself, diving into financial statements and news of her brother returning to China. 3 days later, our girl is back on set in the freezing snow. She's been looking for Ruolin everywhere, feeling a twinge of worry for the nasty snake, who had actually been quite kind to her lately. She finally asks director Kaio about Ruolin's whereabouts. The director tells her that Ruolin is away on a business trip but then drops a bombshell. What? She didn't tell you? Come on, who are you to her? The words cut deep. Our girl stands there in the snow, realizing she's been totally misunderstood again. She was just trying to show some genuine concern, but to everyone else, and maybe even to Ruolin, she's still just a pet who doesn't need to know the itinerary. Our girl is caught red-handed. A loud bam echoes as the door flies open, revealing her hiding spot. Standing over her is the ice-cold Shi Ruolin, looking down with an unreadable expression. "Come out," she commands, her voice leaving no room for argument. Our heroine tries to stand, but her legs give out with a panicked act as she stumbles directly into Ruolin's arms. She blushes furiously, trying to play it off with a nervous laugh. "Sorry about that, my legs are numb from squatting for so long," she squeaks. But Ruolin doesn't just let her go, she scoops our girl up in a sudden princess carry. Hey? Our girl stammers, her heart doing a frantic tap dance against her ribs. Ruolin calmly places her on a nearby desk, saying, "I'll take a look." To our girl's shock, Ruolin actually starts rubbing her legs to get the circulation back. "Do you feel better?" she asks, being way too attentive for someone who usually acts like a glacier. Our girl can't help but smirk, leaning into the attention. She pulls out a small fuzzy puff and decides it's time for some answers. "Miss Shi," she begins. Pointing directly at the puff, she drops the question she's been dying to ask. "Who exactly is that pretty young lady to you?" She's not backing down, demanding to know why she was told to hide the second that woman arrived. Ruolin goes dead silent, looking away as the tension in the room spikes. When our girl keeps poking for the truth, Ruolin suddenly snaps, "Don't touch it." Our heroine just smiles, reminding her that the puff was the very first gift she ever gave her. "Please keep it safe," she says, tugging at those frozen heartstrings. Ruolin finally sighs, explaining that the hiding was just to avoid unnecessary misunderstandings. But our girl isn't buying that corporate excuse. "Unnecessary misunderstandings, or just another attempt to cover up the truth?" she scoffs. "So does Miss Shi like that pretty lady?" Ruolin's eyes grow cold as she delivers a soul-crushing blow. "Miss Shen, who are you to me? My affairs are none of your business." Our girl's heart shatters, but she forces a painful smile. "All right, I get it." Deep down, she's fuming. "Don't you understand that this is someone caring about you, damn snake?" she screams internally. Cut to the film set where it's action. Our girl is back in reality, dressed in a stunning traditional outfit in the middle of a snowfall. My love." She tries to recite her lines. But the director has zero patience today. "Stop, stop, stop," Liu Kaio screams. "What's going on? You can't even act when Miss Shi leaves you behind." Our girl is mortified, apologizing and promising to do better next time. The director is brutal, telling her that Shi Ruolin is very disappointed in her. She calls our girl talentless and lazy before ending the shoot early. "Go back and think this over carefully. We're not filming today," she barks. Our poor heroine walks off alone into the snow, feeling like a total failure. She wonders if Ruolin is truly angry with her. She pulls out her phone to call, but only gets a cold, automated message. "The number you have dialed is unavailable." She's been ghosted. Meanwhile, Ruolin is back at her desk, staring at her vibrating phone as our girl's name flashes on the screen. "During this period, don't let anyone disturb me," she tells her assistant. Even when the assistant asks if that includes Miss Shen, Ruolin doesn't blink. Yes, including her. She thinks she's doing the girl a favor by having the director take care of her. She then proceeds to block her entirely. Talk about a villainous move. Our girl is still trying, sending a text, "Miss Shi, are you angry?" But she's met with the dreaded red exclamation mark. Message not delivered. "Asshole," she yells into the winter air. Back at the office, the peace is shattered when Ruolin's brother, Shi Shang, slams the door open. He's heard Ruolin is in and wants to talk collaboration. Ruolin's eyes narrow with pure disgust. She knows this man is a complete idiot who lost a fortune 3 years ago and was exiled to keep him out of trouble. He starts barking about how she's looking down on him, and how working with him will increase her reputation. Ruolin just lets out a dark heh. "Calm down, brother," she says, standing up to pour him some tea. But check this out, she's secretly slipping cockroach powder and hallucinogen into his cup. She hands it over with a fake sisterly smile. He starts whining about her making billions and demands she transfer a few million to him. He even lectures her about keeping a mistress while drinking the drugged tea. "Brother, have you been investigating me?" Juolin asks, her voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. When he dares to mock her, Juolin snaps. She slams a folder into his face with a loud "hut" from him. Before he can react, she lunges across the desk and grabs him by the throat. Let me go," he wheezes, his eyes bulging in terror. Suddenly, the drugs kick in. Instead of his sister, he sees a massive, hissing purple snake ready to strike. "Uncle Wang, save me, he screams at the top of his lungs. Ryulin casually dumps the rest of the tea on his head to wake him up. "Brother, what's wrong with you?" she asks, playing the concerned sister while he trembles on the floor. He's left wondering if it was all a hallucination. He tries to point a finger at her, calling her a damn woman, but Ryulin just checks her phone, totally unbothered. She promises to transfer every penny he asked for, and he scampers out of the office like a kicked puppy. He's seething, swearing revenge for his past exile. But Ryulin is 3 steps ahead. She tells her secretary to launder the money in his name. "Oh, and remember to report this first," she adds. This drug is considered a narcotic without a prescription. She's sending her own brother to a detention center as a homecoming gift. Absolute queen behavior. Suddenly, her phone buzzes with a call from the director. "Shi Ruolin, can you please get your hot-tempered chinchilla under control?" Liu Kaio screams. Ryulin is confused. Hot-tempered. Apparently, our girl is a menace on set, eating the props, ignoring instructions, and doing whatever she wants. She's even refusing to film intimate scenes. The director wails. Liu Kaio begs Ryulin to discipline her student, saying she's the only one our girl will listen to. "Only listen to me," Ryulin repeats, a tiny, satisfied smirk appearing. She checks her phone and notices there are no missed calls or texts, forgetting she blocked the poor girl earlier. "I'll go back after I finish my work," she decides. She remembers how arrogant our heroine used to be 6 years ago and decides her current punishment isn't enough. "I'll have to take matters into my own hands," she muses with a dark glint in her eyes. Our girl has no idea what's coming. The cold wind howls around the snowy cabin as the film crew prepares for another grueling take. Our girl Youqing is shivering on a mat, trying her best to deliver the performance of a lifetime. But director Luo is a total nightmare, snapping that the mood isn't right and demanding they try it. Youqing is clearly at her limit, her face flushed from the freezing cold and the mounting frustration. "Stop, stop, stop, no, no, no," the director screams, complaining that our girl is as stiff as a dead fish. She's being absolutely ruthless, shouting wrong, over and over until Youqing is officially fuming. Finally, our heroine reaches her breaking point and decides she isn't taking this lying down. She marches right up to the director, declaring that the scene shouldn't be acted out like this. Director Luo slowly stands up, looking like she's about to eat someone for breakfast. But Youqing doesn't flinch. She knows exactly what's going on. Ever since Shi Ruolin left, this director has been making her life a living hell under the guise of training. From isolating her during lunch to forcing her into high-risk wire stunts just to delete the footage later, the bullying has been nonstop. Now, the director is pushing for intimate scenes without any camera tricks, basically demanding our girl throw away her dignity for the sake of art. Youqing had tried to be professional and trust the process, but this is the final straw. "I know you want to show the character's self-destruction," she argues, "but she still has a fighting spirit. She wouldn't act like a mindless doll." The director isn't interested in a debate. "I'm the director of this movie," she sneers, telling Youqing she's just a tool who shouldn't talk back. She even has the nerve to tell her to pull open her collar and lie back in the snow. Youqing is shaking, realizing that the director is just enjoying the power trip. She figures that since Juolin has supposedly grown tired of her anyway, she has nothing left to lose. The set is in a total stalemate as the crew watches the sparks fly. Even the assistants try to step in, pointing out that Youqing is still new to the industry, but the director just mocks her age, saying she should have achieved success by now. It's blatant bullying, and even the staff can see it. "Do you still want to act or not?" the director challenges. The crew members start chiming in, telling Youqing to just listen to the director for her own good. They try to grab her, acting like they're comforting her while actually just trying to force her back onto the mat. "Get out of my way," she screams, realizing they're all just accomplices. She turns back to director Luo one last time, shouting that she wants to act, but she won't let her dignity be trampled. She grabs her bag and bolts, but she's so blinded by tears that she slams right into someone's chest. "Where are you going?" a familiar, calm voice asks. Youqing freezes as she looks up and sees the one person she didn't expect. It's Shi Ruolin, and she's looking at our girl with a mix of concern and playfulness, noting that she's grown thinner. Youqing can't believe her eyes. Why is she back now? Ruolin immediately takes her hand, sensing that her student is about to burst into tears. She turns to the director, her aura completely shifting to something much more intimidating. Director Luo tries to play it off, complaining that her precious darling refuses to take acting seriously. She goes on a rant about missed work days, but Youqing tries to shout that the demands were insane. Ruolin doesn't let her finish, reaching out to pinch her neck and silence her with a single look. "Stop talking," she commands, her gaze stopping Youqing in her tracks. She turns back to the director and holds out her hand. Give me the schedule, she says coldly. She claims it's her fault for not teaching her student well enough, so she'll be taking over the instruction personally. Youqing can only stare in shock as she's led away. Fast forward to a much more private setting, a luxurious hot spring. Ruolin is relaxing in the water, looking completely unbothered while Youqing sits on the edge, looking like a nervous wreck. Ruolin asks why she was being so difficult on set, and Youqing finally spills the tea. She made me act out an intimate scene in front of everyone. She cries out, her face turning beet red. How am I supposed to act that out? Ruolin doesn't give her the sympathy she expects. Instead, she tells her that this is an essential step for any actor. Youqing is so frustrated she threatens to quit acting altogether and tries to walk away. But Ruolin stops her with a single question: who told you I grew tired of you? Our girl stops dead in her tracks. She turns around, yelling about how she called and texted a million times with no answer. Ruolin leans in, looking a bit sheepish as she checks her phone. It turns out she had accidentally put Youqing on a hidden, blocked list and completely forgot the feature existed. I'm sorry, it was my bad, she admits. Youqing is instantly cheered up, but Ruolin reminds her that even if she made a mistake, it's no excuse to refuse to film the scene. The mood turns serious as Ruolin puts on her robe and pours 2 glasses of wine. I can help you get everything you want, she promises, but first you need to understand what that is. Youqing looks at her reflection in the wine, thinking about her true desires. She wants to be noticed, to be loved by the masses, and to stand in the spotlight as a star. She realizes she needs to use Ruolin to get those things back. She regains her composure and takes the glass. Ruolin warns her that if she wants to use her, she has to pay a price. Youqing knows there's no turning back now. She downs the entire glass in one go, declaring, let's begin. She's suddenly feeling much bolder, or maybe that's just the wine talking. Ruolin smirks, her eyes darkening. Begin what? She asks. She leans in close, asking if Youqing really needs her to teach her how to perform that intimate scene. Our girl is back to being a blushing mess, stammering that no one has ever taught her something like that before. Ruolin doesn't hesitate, pulling her close and wrapping her hands around her waist. Their faces are inches apart as Ruolin whispers that she needs to pay close attention to the lesson. Youqing can only nod, completely entranced. Ruolin leads her to a chair in front of a mirror, explaining that this way she can see her own expressions clearly. Youqing is squirming under the intense gaze, but Ruolin puts a finger to her lips. SHH, don't move, she murmurs. But as Youqing feels her strength fading, she realizes she was the one who got drunk, yet Ruolin is the one making her feel so weak. We flash back to 6 years ago, where a younger Youqing was already seething with jealousy seeing Ruolin with another girl. She's been keeping tabs on Ruolin, finding out that she's currently working on a graduation film and is desperately seeking investment. Youqing smirks, thinking she's found the perfect opening. Her plan: wait for the bigwigs to reject Ruolin, then swoop in like a sugar mommy to save the day. But things took a dark turn Youqing didn't expect. Instead of a rejection, she accidentally became a witness to a kidnapping plot. Inside a nearby conference room, a sleazy director Lin is applauding Ruolin's excellent performance. He hands her a drink, telling her she'll have a bright future as long as she serves the boss. Ruolin feels a hand grab her arm, a silent warning from a colleague. She realizes the drink is spiked, but to avoid making a scene in front of the crowd, she downs the whole glass. What was she thinking? As she tries to leave, the director tries to get handsy, but she dodges him and makes a run for it. She stumbles into the hallway, her vision blurring. To make matters worse, thugs are already guarding the elevators. Get her, they shout as Ruolin bolts for the only place she can hide, the women's restroom. She barely makes it inside to throw up the poison. She desperately checks her phone, but there's no signal. The thugs are closing in, but someone else is already in the bathroom. Youqing slams a stall door open, looking for a place to hide herself. She quickly realizes Ruolin is the one being hunted and decides to take charge. When the thugs storm in, Youqing stands her ground. A bunch of grown men storming the women's bathroom. Have you no shame? She demands. The thugs claim they're just security looking for a thief, but Youqing isn't buying it. She flashes her phone, screaming that she's already called the police. Seeing her head-to-toe designer outfit, the thugs realize she's way above their pay grade and decide to retreat. Once the coast is clear, Youqing knocks on Ruolin's stall. Ruolin opens the door, her face flushed and her breath smelling of alcohol. She's so out of it she starts nuzzling Youqing's hand like a lost puppy. Youqing tries to stay annoyed, but she eventually offers to help Ruolin walk home. But as she grabs Ruolin's arm, her eyes widen in shock. There are scales growing on her skin. Slowly, a voice whispers as the moon hangs high over the city. Our girl Youqing is playing the Good Samaritan, holding the Ice Queen. She Ruolin back to her place after she supposedly fell ill. Youqing notes that the room is surprisingly plain but tidy for someone so cold-hearted. Youqing wonders if she's just sick or if those beastly instincts are finally taking over. She's staring right into the abyss of those predatory snake eyes. I asked, Ruolin repeats, her voice dropping an octave as a massive, scaly tail slithers into view. Before she can run, Ruolin pins her down, demanding to know if she likes the view. Despite the danger, Youqing can't help but think how beautiful she is while her heart beats like a drum. Youqing is left standing there, her face steaming as she tries to process the intensity of the moment. Is my brain broken? What was that? She screams internally. Our poor girl is having a full-blown chibai meltdown. Trying to distract herself, she notices a photo on the shelf. She reaches for it, sensing a hidden secret. It's a photo of Ruolin with another woman, tucked next to some very official-looking medical papers. Youqing realizes Ruolin's family background is her true Achilles heel, and it's actually kind of heartbreaking. She wants to dig deeper, but then she hears a pained moan from the other rooms. Flash forward to the set, where Ruolin is reviewing footage and thinking she doesn't want anyone else to see her little chinchilla like this. She insists on changing the shot to be more subtle, protecting her girl's image. The director notices something though. Did someone bite your neck? She asks suspiciously. Ruolin looks in the mirror at the clear bite mark Youqing left behind. She can't help but smirk. It was probably from a naughty little mouse, she jokes. While the director wonders about a pest problem, Youqing is elsewhere, sneezing her head off. She's hiding under her covers, her face beet red as she thinks about what happened. She can't stop thinking about being with Ruolin, and she hates how much she wants it. She throws off the blanket, decided. That damn snake, I'm going to demand an explanation, she shouts. Meanwhile, Ruolin is acting like nothing's wrong, telling the director that someone must be thinking about her. The director is trying to talk business, asking how to handle Youqing's career. She asks point blank if their relationship is more than just teacher and student. Ruolin shuts it down, saying Youqing's future is her own. But internally, she knows interacting with her little chinchilla is worth every penny of investment. She plays the tough boss, threatening to cut the director's budget if the movie isn't a hit. As the director leaves, she bumps right into Youqing, who's been eavesdropping. Youqing is fuming, hoping she didn't hear the director talking trash about her. She claims she's just there for acting advice, but the director is not having it. The director tries to drag her away, but Youqing is a ball of pure rage. She shakes her off with a don't touch me vibe. The things I want to learn, only she can teach me, she yells at the top of her lungs. Ruolin tells the director to let her in, and Youqing stomps inside, pouting like a pro. Ruolin asks if she's already absorbed yesterday's lessons while casually doodling a tiny chinchilla. I'm here to settle things with you. Ruolin just looks at her, completely unbothered. She stares at her collar, wondering if Youqing knows she's actually been looking out for her this whole time.